Okay, so today we're going to lower the Mini with the factory JCW kit, which is over here. We just buy it from the dealer. Nothing comes in a big box. Everything you need. Open this up. That's the way you get it, and that includes the sway bars. And then the spring kits, which are separate. And they're to the VIN of the car, so when you order them from the dealer, they order them with the VIN. We're going to be installing it on this car. We're going to do like a before and after kind of measurement. We had used a tape measure to measure from the bottom of the rim to the lip here. These are the 18-inch factory rims from Mini, and we had measured it. The front ones are about 604 millimeters. The rear ones are about 615 millimeters. That's before we lowered the car. So after we lower it, we'll check it again. Oh, those are too big. All right, we're going to start with the rear sway bar and rear shocks first. This one has the Mini GP diffuser, so we're just going to yank this off real quick. Not a real big. All right, so we almost got this thing off. Pop this thing down. Both sides. All right. Here. Here. Okay, so we're just going to pull the shocks out first on both sides. It's pretty easy, self-explanatory. It's not that hard to do. Just a little rubber. Pull the last one out. Let's get it through here. Okay, so we got the shocks off. We're going to do the switch. I'm going to come over here, pull out the new ones. Box. This is the one. We're doing the rear. Other. Okay, so we got the shocks off. We got them out of the box. There is left and right. It's just a little ear. So basically, all we need is just the rubber stuff in the cap. We don't need the shock, and we don't need the spring. So we're just going to take all the parts off of this one. Put it in there. Okay, so we got it in the spring compressor. We're just going to compress the spring a little bit. We're going to undo the top. It's not a real big deal. Okay, so we're just going to crack it loose. All right, basically pop this off. We're going to pop this out. Read the rubber. And it comes with a new buffer. And a washer. Just assemble it the same way you took it off. The kit comes with the new hardware, so just kind of lay it out, match it, you know, hardware for hardware. Assemble it. We're going to go ahead and press the spring. This thing down. All right, and just tighten the nice down. It stops. Not that tight. Pull it down. Double check. Alright, so now we're going to put the sway bar in, which 90% of the people, when they charge you, all they do is the springs like you saw we did. So the sway bar is actually part of the whole kit. That's half the whole suspension, so I quite don't understand why they don't install that. So anyways, we're going to start at the rear. We're just going to go ahead and pop the upper link off. It's kind of, you don't want that center to turn on the link because you're going to screw up the ball joint in that link. Okay, it should pop out pretty easy. And then we'll do this on the upper portion. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, so it's kind of a pain in the ass to pull this sway bar out. We got it out, as you can see. I mean, you can do it yourself. It's not super bad to do. But it just barely comes out. You have to take the subframe out, but you do have to get it down low enough to get the clearance in here. All right, this is the original one that came with the John Cooper Works car, and this is with the John Cooper Works suspensions. So, just probably even by your eyeball, we're going to measure this real quick. So this original one is ballpark 12, 15, like 17 millimeter. And then this one is about 18 millimeters. So it's about a 1 millimeter difference. So we're going to shoot the new one in, and it's kind of a pain. It does, you can do all this stuff yourself, but it's always good to have somebody help you out. So we're going to go ahead and install this, and we'll be back. Okay, so with some fendangling, we got this sway bar in here. This is the sway bar. We put the shocks back. Again, just take your time. You can do it. It's kind of a little tricky thing to put the sway bar in, but you know, it's not that difficult, but it's not that easy either. So we got both sides in. We're just going to button up the panels. You've seen it on our last video, and then we're going to go ahead and start on the front. All right, so now we're going to do the front. Same thing, we're going to start with the front shocks first. So we're going to just pop those out. Then we're going to lower the subframe, and we've got the sway bar over here that we're going to install. Again, it's thicker. We'll measure it, and we'll go from there. So basically, not a big deal. Just basically take it apart and go from there. Okay, so we got this thing out. We're going to change the spring and the shock, just like the other one. So this thing over here. Okay, just pop this off. Got the spring plate, some grease in there. Okay, so we got this thing on there. It's kind of, again, you got to kind of screw around with it. We're all in there. Let me tighten this down. You should have the tool. We don't have it. Okay, so we got this shock in here. We're going to be getting ready to take the subframe out. So you have to basically loosen up the one control arm on the bottom, which is pretty easy to do. Take off the tie rod end. There's a tool for that. I mean, we just use on this side. We've got all set up. Hang on. Just pop it off. just pops off. And so we got this off. We're going to pop the shock out on this side. And the sway bar link. Okay, so to take the sway bar off, it's a real kind of pain in the ass. You don't really need to take the whole thing out. We just kind of hung it. Everything is pretty much loose. You know, you can do it either way, drop it out. The instructions tell you how to do it, so ultimately just keep an eye on how to do it. The one sway bar was, these are the two sway bars, so this is what makes up the rest of the kit. This is the most pain in the ass part of it. What was this one, 20?
22.
This one was 22, and this one is
24.
24. So it's a couple of millimeters bigger. So again, it comes as an engineered kit, so you can see. We're going to reinstall it and shoot it in there, and then we'll go from there. But it is a pain in the ass. That's why most of the people, they only put the shock stuff in, not the sway bar stuff. But it comes complete to work together. So if you're missing half the pieces, then it's ridiculous. So just, you got to get it done right. Okay, all right, so we got this thing all assembled. Underneath, from our previous video, we had the rear diffuser, but if you look up here, there was another piece missing. We finally got that up here. That would be the front piece of that rear diffuser. That's the lower engine panel. We pulled the subframe halfway down. We got the new sway bars in there, front and back, which was half the problem, and a big hassle. We still need to do the alignment. Take a look of the suspension from here, and that's pretty much it.